Now let's start off with our first big story. Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has asked airline operators to cut operations in line with availability of fuel.
Now, spokesman of the regulatory body, Sam Adurogboyi, said that is the only way the operators can contain the fuel scarcity situation. Adurogboyi made this known in Lagos. Lillian Ezemak reports.
Aviation fuel scarcity continues to hit airlines harder as they delay, merge and cancel flights. Their passengers remain at the receiving end.
They can delay flight for 2 hours, for 3 hours, all of the airlines, not only that one. And I think we have value. They should respect our value. They should respect us. We all have reasons where we are traveling.
But Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it is working with the airlines to resolve the issue.
The airlines are directed to cut down their operations. If you are not going to have enough fuel to run 10 flights, just cut down to the level you can manage when you have fuel for. And if you have sold tickets to passengers before this issue cropped up, then of course get across to the passengers on time. Don't allow them to get to the airport only to be stranded.
The airline operators agreed that supply hiccups and infrastructural challenges facing marketers are some of the key factors responsible for the scarcity of aviation fuel.
The government is working on the possibility of having a local refinery to start refining more of these products. As soon as we have the local refinery refining the aviation fuel, Jet A1, then of course we are going to ameliorate this reliance on importation of Jet A1.
One operator, Arik Airlines, has confirmed that it is grappling with flight schedule disruptions due to severe scarcity of aviation fuel across the country. The airline hinted that it operates an average of 120 flights daily, requiring about 500,000 liters of fuel daily, and was hit by the problem. While the federal government and oil marketers are said to be working to address the supply and distribution challenges, it is hoped that the situation would improve soon. Lillian Ezemak, TVC News, Lagos.
Indeed, I wonder how soon that, this problem is going to be resolved.
That's the big question in the minds and on the lips of so many Nigerians who go to the airports and hoping to travel, and then sometimes they have their flights cancelled.
And I'm just wondering, is it possible to actually fine the airlines? I mean, why allow passengers to get to the airports, only to get stranded?
You should see this coming and know that there's no fuel. I can't take them to this destination because you know how much quantity of fuel is supposed to take them from point A to point B. It's the case, maybe.
And you still allow them buy tickets.
Is all right. With us in the studio to shed more light on this issue is the Secretary General of Aviation Roundtable, Captain John Ojikutu. It's good to have you in the studio.
It's my pleasure to be here.
You're welcome.
That's right.
Good morning.
Yes,
now,
good morning.
let's start it off this way. The global price of crude oil is coming down. And from what we understand, Jet A1 is a product of the crude oil. If petrol is available in Nigeria now and all of those things are available, what's the difference with Jet A1?
Thank you for that question. And thank you for answering the question too halfway.
Oh, okay.
Is there really scarcity of aviation fuel?
Good question.
Is there really scarcity of aviation fuel? The domestic airlines are complaining, and the foreign airlines that are coming here, are they complaining? The foreign airlines are getting fuel every day, and they consume much more than what we are consuming. They have not cancelled their flight, they have not delayed their flight. So what is the problem? And I said it last week, that except those who are managing the aviation, they really understand the problems that aviation is facing, then they will continue to have a lot of problems. Aviation fuel is just one of the problems of aviation. It's just one of the problems. But there's no scarcity. Like I said, there is no scarcity.
Okay.
Well, we're given the impression that there is, scarcity. And like Mike said, there's petrol.
I have told you now, like you just said, there is petroleum on the road. There's PMS everywhere. If you ask them, they said there is no foreign exchange. And I ask, the petroleum you are selling on the road, the PMS you are selling, how did you get them in?
How
are the foreign airlines getting Jet A1? Why is it that we are not getting? And I think the problem needs to be dropped on the table of NCA. Some of the solutions they are finding is not the solution at all. It is very clear that the international airlines are buying fuel. With what currency? They buy fuel with hard currency. Our own airline cannot pay hard currency. They have to pay the Nigerian currency to buy the fuel. So why are we not selling fuel to them? That is the question NCA had to answer. That is the question the airline themselves had to answer.
So in this case, is this a product of inefficiency or is it a
product
of
that is why I have said it several times, there is a cabal going on. And except government gets into it, they will continue to deceive the public and they will continue to deceive those in government who have no idea of how aviation works. Last week, I came to understand at a forum like this in another meeting that some of the airlines are owing as much as 5 billion. One airline is owing as much as 5 billion to a marketer. So the marketers are not ready to sell fuel to them. The way they are owing the marketers is the same way they are owing the other service provider like FAN, like NAMA. It's the same way. And we keep saying that most of these airlines, the way they are operating in debt.
So what you're saying then is there's more to it than meets the
there's
eye.
Much more to it.
It's not just about...
no, there's no scarcity of aviation. Like I told you, there's no scarcity.
And of course, the forex scarcity that they've been talking about, that they don't have access to.
The marketers are complaining that there is no foreign exchange, and I told them, well, you are selling in foreign exchange to foreign airlines. You are selling minimum of 1.5 million liters every day, and you are making an average of $1 million every day.
See, what I'm curious about is, I mean, one gets the impression that there are quite a number of airlines. Private airlines, of course. I mean, Nigeria does not have, a national carrier.
Yeah.
So many of them that you can't even begin to name. Yeah. So what is the attraction, to the aviation industry?
Is that something we are going to sit down and discuss?
Please, we need to, so that we can actually unravel
sit down here. It will take us hours to discuss it because, like I said, aviation is just one problem out of the major myriad of problems. Let's pick the airline. Just the airline alone. For a very long time, we've been talking of, the airline needs money. We started with intervention fund. We gave them 200 billion intervention fund. Before then, they were owing. Up to 2008, 2010, they were owing some of the service providers. The then minister decided and said, okay, when the service provider were going to ground them, let us give them a kind of debt relief, debt concession. Let us spread their debt for 4 years. Between that period and 2010, there was a change of government and change of everything. 2010, they were owing some of the service providers. The then minister decided and said, okay, when the service provider were going to ground them, let us give them a kind of debt relief, debt concession. Let us spread their debt for 4 years. Between that period and 2010, there was a change of government and change of everything. They started talking to government about intervention fund. They are not paying their debt. They are owing banks. They are owing so many places. Government decided to give them 200 billion. Now, the question is, what did they do with that money? Even when government was giving them that money, what was their debt portfolio?
But don't you think government itself failed?
That is why I said
this intervention fund, is it not in the place of government to actually ensure that this money is actually go to
even before giving them,
debts?
Before giving them, including the central bank, we wrote them, find out the debt portfolio of these people before you give them the money. What are they really paying for? Till now, they are still owing most of the service provider. The amount of money government has put into the private airline is more than 4 or 5 times what they have given to the government agencies. We have given them intervention fund. We have spread their debt payment. We are now saying that they should get 0 duties on spares. In fact, the most ridiculous one is that even tax. And these are private entrepreneurs that are making money every day. They don't sell tickets on credit.
Okay.
And now why I say I put it there, I put the problem on the table of NCA, that NCA is supposed to be checking. And last week I was surprised to hear NCA telling me that some of these airlines are owing up to 5 billion. At what time did you discover that? Instead of them stopping them from flying, you can't continue to accumulate debt.
So somebody's not doing their job then, and then the same NCAA is now saying that the airline operators should scale down.
That is what I'm saying. They should stop them because their debts are heavy. They cannot continue.
All right, but let's understand something. Like you just said that these people make money every day.
Yeah.
They don't sell tickets on credit. But is it that they're not making profit at all?
We need to ask them. It is only when NCA keeps looking at their book, like the regulation says, check their book. I was saying quarterly. They said every month. They have been checking their books every month. If you've been checking this guy's book every month, how did they get to 5 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion? They are not paying any of the services. They are not paying for fuel. They are asking government to give them money. No. We need to look into some of these problems. They are going to get us into the pit. So it is not the way we are going about it in aviation at all. Every money from government is going to the private airline. What are they contributing into the sector? The BASA is there. You go on international. You go to London. You go to New York. You make dollar. Have you repatriated that dollar back home? Just like British Airways wants to repatriate and Central Bank is stopping it. Have you been able to repatriate any dollar home? You are not doing that. The marketers are selling dollars. They are not telling us that they are making dollars. There is no agency of government and private agencies that are in that airport that are not making some dollar. Government needs to find out. And I wrote them, audit these people. Let us find out how much foreign exchange they are making so that we know how to support them. Don't just go to the central bank and tell central bank, let us see what we can do from the money you have so that we can help these people. How much are they making themselves? So it is not scarcity of fuel. The fuel is there. The marketers themselves are telling lies.
So somebody is blackmailing someone.
That's
here.
why I said they are blackmailing government.
Now, the issue of even discussing whether local refineries, should be the way out and all of that.
Even if local refineries starts today, they will do what they are doing.
Because that seems, I mean, some players in the sector have said there's a need for Nigeria to have, local refineries. Kaduna and Warri that used to produce the so-called Jet A1, they're no longer doing that.
You have kerosene on the road now. I tell you, it's a big cabal that is going on. Kerosene, do you have it on the road? That is supposed to be cheap. Do you have it on the road? If there's no aviation fuel, there will be no kerosene. Because the difference between them is just thin like this. There's virtually no difference between kerosene and that's why the danger is we keep telling them. Before they start cutting corners, before they start selling kerosene as Jet A1, which they have been doing before. So it's a serious thing that government needs to sit down and look at. So there's no scarcity of fuel. If foreign airlines are buying fuel, you are buying dollar. About 4 or 5 months ago, you were buying dollar at about how much? 190, 180. You are selling fuel at 80 naira to 90 naira to 100 naira. This Jet A1. That's at the time you were buying dollar at that price.
And today it stands somewhere around 380.
And I tell them, so why can't you sell?
Sorry, Mr. Ojukutu, I need to get this in.
Yeah.
I mean, the airline operators themselves have said 70% of their cost actually goes into providing Jet A1 or fuel, for the airlines.
I have had that several times. If you pay 70%, then you have to pay landing and parking. You have to pay for so many other things. So what is your net profit? Why are you in that business? They are not telling, like, if you ask this airline, they will tell you it's consuming 4,000. If you ask this airline, it tells you it's consuming 7,000. We need to know.
Okay. We'll ask more questions because these are revelations you're bringing out now that so many Nigerians are not aware.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to this. Let's. Well, in the last few weeks, aviation fuel shortages have led to an increase in cancellations and delays of domestic and international flights in Nigeria. And the result is that flight operations have been reduced with terrible consequences for passengers and businesses.
Aviation fuel, otherwise known as Jet A1, is a kerosene grade of fuel suitable for most turbine-engined aircraft. It has a flash point minimum of 38 degrees Celsius and a freeze point maximum of 47 degrees Celsius. It is the most common type of fuel in civil aviation.
Now, Nigeria wholly imports its Jet A1 fuel with about 2 million liters in demand daily. The costs that go with the importation include demurrage, transportation and storage. Now, these are added to every liter of fuel sold to airlines.
Now, from the initial price of 115 naira per liter, aviation fuel now sells for as much as 240 naira per liter. Airlines that had been struggling to remain in business due to the depreciation of the economy are now in dire straits, now losing an estimated 500 million naira every day as they are forced to make refunds to passengers, suffer other losses due to aborted operations, in addition to their indebtedness to the banks.
Now, the scarcity is caused by the slide in the value of the naira. Besides, marketers have had so much difficulty accessing the foreign exchange needed to ship in jet fuel. And as a result, the marketers are unable to meet daily fuel requirements on a timely and consistent basis. It's one of the reasons, and certainly we have our guests here telling us also other reasons, practical reasons on ground as to what the causes are.
Now, there are also distribution challenges as discharging of vessels bringing in Jet A1 and other petroleum products are done in the same jetty. Now, some marketers have also accused the NNPC of concentrating on importation of petrol at the detriment of Jet A1. Is that the case, Mr. Ojikutu?
No, not too long ago, just about 3-4 weeks ago, the government gave a blanket, a door open for anybody who can import to import. So what is the problem? Don't we have people that will import? We have a lot of marketers. It shouldn't be only NNPC. We have Total, we have Oando, we have Cornoil, we have MR. We have so many of them. The question is, are they not importing the same way they are importing petroleum? You understand? That is one problem. You were talking about trucking. Is it trucking or piping from the
just one
from the depot?
Yes.
Transportation.
Yeah, the transportation. That was a problem that has been there way back in '92, and I keep telling them there is a cabal. There's no reason why the pipeline that got ruptured in 1992. There's no reason why they shouldn't have been able to repair it. Maybe now that they have gone to, because even before the is it Arepo area?
Yes.
Aleppo.
Before that area, the problem should have been solved. We were getting fuel directly to the aircraft from Mosimi in Shagamu. You can pipe directly from there. I mean, you can pump directly from there to the aircraft apron where the aircraft is parked. That was the system of MMB in particular. Now, somewhere along the line, in 1992, they got it ruptured. And that is why you have a lot of fuel tankers, hundreds, 200 parks at MMB. That's another.
That in itself should be risky.
Apart from the risk there, that is the added cost. You transport, instead of piping through the pipeline, you transport 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. When they get there, they stay there until the tank is empty before they put it in there. That probably will take another 3 or 4 weeks. You pay demurrage for another 3 or 4 weeks. Those are the added costs. So when they are telling you, these are the areas, they are not going to talk about it. So, but the price will keep increasing. If you were buying dollar at 180, 190 before, and it has now gone to how much now? 380.
380.
Yeah. You understand? And at the time you were buying at 180, you are selling fuel at 900. So how much will you sell it now? You understand? You probably will have to sell it at what? 160, 180. But that is not what you are seeing now. What you are seeing now is 202, 250, 220, and the question is why?
All right.
So many whys.
Yeah, there's so many whys, but certainly we'll try to find but this is basically making Nigerians understand how these things work, and it's good we're getting answers here. Now, we're going out on TVC Entertainment, but viewers there can continue with TVC Breakfast on TVC Nigeria on Concert Channel 190, DSTV 45.
And of course, Go TV 45 and ACTV 510. DSTV, of course,
418.
is 418.
All right, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and we are talking about aviation. The industry recently has what Nigerians call difficulty, where flights are being cancelled, flights are being delayed, but certainly reasons are given, divergent reasons are given why this is. Well, certainly we have in the studio Group Captain John Ojikutu, retired. He's the Secretary General of Aviation Roundtable, and we have been talking about this. Now, we were giving you outlines of some of these issues earlier. Now, as a result of some of these challenges and the scarcity, a round trip flight from Lagos to Abuja, for instance, now goes for as much as 61,000 for a Nigerian-based airline, whereas a road trip to the same location cost an estimated 6,000 naira.
And Mike, the roads are not even in good shape. So
Not at all.
if you were going to take that as an alternative, then there are...
You're going to give so much,
yes,
because the time and the risks involved.
Now, a return flight from Lagos to New York also costs more than 800,000 naira. Another check on the website of the airline indicates that round-trip fare from Lagos to London has jumped to more than 400,000 naira on the economy class. Now, a check on another Nigeria-based website gives you a message about the scarcity. The airline charges 51,000 from a round trip from Lagos to Abuja, depending on the time and date of the flight. Group Captain Ojikutu, obviously now it is obvious that Nigerians, the airline passengers, are the ones at the receiving end. They will bear the brunt of, you know, all of this that's going on in the aviation sector.
Well, if the foreign airlines, the foreign airlines are the ones that are even more in this business, if they cannot repatriate their money. And it's one of the reasons why I said that we need to find out how much dollar we are making so that all these problems can be solved. If you don't know how much dollar you are making within the system, the problem will continue. Of course, they have to repatriate their money home. If the flight from here to London was about $1,000 before, which was about $180,000, sorry, 180,000 naira. If you have to change 180,000 naira with the present rate now, you can never get that amount of money. That is the problem the industry is facing today. And there is very little anybody can do about it. For as long as the naira continues to make a downfall, that rate is going to continue to increase.
Okay, now give us an idea. In all of these issues within the Nigerian aviation industry, what implications are there for Nigeria as far as international ratings are concerned?
As far as international ratings are concerned, we have only 2 airlines that are going international, at least outside Africa now. That is Arik and the Medview. Those are the only ones. So far, I think they are trying to stay within. I know people are talking about national carrier. And I keep asking the question, what is your definition of national carrier? What is the definition of national flag? I mean, flag carriers, national airline. For me, it does not matter what name you give it. The only thing I am against is the Nigerian government, like most governments, cannot run an airline. You can't run an airline. All you need to do is to have a very good regulatory agency that will be able to classify your airline as a national airline. What is the reason? Why can't we put Arik on the scale
of a national airline?
Of a national.
I mean, when you have countries like Ethiopia and Rwanda,
yeah,
these countries have their own national The airlines.
Or flag carriers.
No, flag carriers.
Absolutely. Call it flag carrier, whatever. Call it flag carrier, call it national airline. But government, the way we are seeing it in this country is that government must run the national airline. And I said, no. In what business has government put its hand that has ever made a success of it? You understand? All we need to get a national carrier like America has national carriers in Delta, in United, in so many others. All we need is a very good, smart regulatory agency. But unfortunately, the NCA we have here, I'm sorry to say, is a toothless bulldog. He can only bark, he can't bite.
What's responsible for that?
Because of the people that are there in government, politicians. And I said quite a lot of them have one hand or the other in some of these airlines that are operating today. In those days, maybe this government, if it looks very carefully into what is happening, in those days, an airline owner can remove the DG of NCA. He can remove the MD of FAN. Except we get over all these things, we cannot, there's no way we are going to meet the standard of, never mind category 1 or everything we are talking about now. All those ones for me, they are political. But for us to be where every other person, the NCA must be put in the proper footing. The NCA is not the way it is today. Why are you telling the airline, don't sell tickets on this? I mean, rubbish.
They cut down operations.
Cut down operations.
Because I was going to ask who decides whether
even if they cut down the operation, they can't get fuel because they are owing. So it's not about cutting down operation.
So if air transport gets paralyzed now in Nigeria with this prevailing situation,
the way we are going,
how will it? Yes.
No, the way we are going, it's going to happen. And like I told you, I said it is not just the fuel alone. Last other Monday or Tuesday, today is what? Today is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I don't know whether it was Monday or last week Friday that FAN decided to ground ARIC. Why? Because they are not paying. If you check by the rate they are selling fuel now, ARIC is consuming how much? 500,000 liters a day. 500,000, 500,000 liters a day. Multiplied by the rate they say they are making it now. It means he has to be paying minimum 100 million naira every day for fuel.
Whoa.
How much passenger is he carrying?
Are there too many airlines in the first place in Nigeria? Don't forget that Nigeria accounts for majority of
even private
jets.
My dear sister, you can have 20 airlines, and each one of them will have two aircraft. You have no airline. You can have 20 airlines. And each one of them probably, this one has 2, this one has 3, this one has 5. Add all of them together. They are not up to one single airline.
Wow.
Not even Rwanda we are talking about.
All right, I'm going to bring in Kemi Foladeyemo now to give us updates on what people are saying on social media, how Nigerians are reacting to this. Kemi, good morning again.
Good morning once again, guys.
Morning,
of course, big topic online. What is it these days? But actually, this one about the scarcity of aviation fuel has, of course, gotten many Nigerians, many observers concerned about just what's going on now in the aviation sector. Good morning to you, sir. I'll be fielding questions to you during the course of this presentation. So this is an outlook of just how bad the situation is now. This is according to touchph.com, who says hashtag news headline, passengers stranded as aviation fuel scarcity grounds flights. Well, of course, it's a picture everywhere in the country now. It's a similar experience now being recounted by passengers, as we will see during the course of this. So Rosonwo is saying aviation fuel scarcity in hashtag Nigeria. Passenger fuel planes depart Abuja to Douala in Cameroon, of course, to fuel planes for international flights. And then someone is responding to Rosonwo by saying, Oluyomi Ojo, now today, late May, we were going to Tanzania. We did Douala to get fuel and then headed out to East Africa, Equatorial, in other words, fuel scarcity. This is more or less, like I said earlier on, a similar experience. People having to go to neighboring countries, Cameroon now, to have their, to continue their flights, basically. What's the justification in that, though?
That is what I can understand. There's nobody that is going to leave Abuja and be going to Europe to go and get fuel in Douala. There's nobody that is going to leave Lagos to be going to Europe to go and get fuel in Douala. You understand? If you the figure, I mean, what I'm seeing now, aircraft that are going to either East Africa or South Africa, there might not be fuel in Abuja. You understand? There might be a reason for fuel not to get to Abuja because of transportation of the little quantity of fuel that gets there. Last week, and that's why some of these things they are not telling us the truth. The marketers brought in 8 million, and they were so happy about it. And we brought in 8 million of fuel. That's just for 2 days.
8 million liters.
8 million liters. That's just for 2 days. And they say, okay, another 10 million is coming in tomorrow. I said, look, this is not a joking matter. If you want to make the place to work, you are only bringing in fuel for those who are paying you in dollars. But if you have if you have PMS in the petrol station outside, you didn't bring them in with Naira because you are selling them Naira. You brought them in with dollar. You went to Central Bank and got that money. Why can't you get that money? So why are you asking for special concession for aviation gas, which you are selling in dollar, and you are getting dollar for it?
All right. Okay, so let's just bring you now to alternatives now that's been proposed online. And AfriDev Info is saying Nigeria needs to think ahead on aviation fuel scarcity. In South Africa now, the SAA, that's the South African Airlines, just launched a biofuels flight, no engine change. It launched sometimes about 2 weeks ago. It's called Africa's first sustainable biofuel flight, which was conducted from Cape Town to Johannesburg, the first in Africa. What are Nigeria's options now to embracing this alternative?
Where is the money? No, for the airline, where is the money? No, we shouldn't be joking about this, and that's why I say it's a very serious issue. Because the problem is most airlines in this country, the lifespan of most airlines in this country is about 10 years. Go to record and find out.
Is it really a case of lack of funds, or fundamentally the lack of?
If we sit down,
do we really have a vision for the
a lot of people in the business have no idea how the business runs. When they come in, they make this money, they divest the money or they divert it. Now, initially when you come in, when fuel was selling at whatever price, 50 naira to 80 naira, you could be making a kind of profit. You understand? For instance, if you pick passenger from here to Abuja, you carry full load, at the end of the day, you are likely to make a profit of about 800 to 1 million. That's a large money for you. And if you do that for about 1 year, you think you have made some money. By the time you calculate 1 million naira in 1 year, every day 1 year, that will be about 360 million. Now, change that into dollar at 180. It gives you 2 million. That's just enough to do a C check. That is enough to do a C check within 2 years. And that's all. And we keep telling them, you don't come into this industry, you bring in dollar, and you want to make profit in dollar. You bring in dollar, your profit is going to be in cent. You bring in naira, your profit is going to be in kobo. It's not a Kennedy Lichuku. No, seriously.
Okay.
It's not.
Well, let's allow
the people that are buying biofuel, these are new generation aircraft he's talking about. How many people are buying new generation aircraft here?
Okay.
When they want to go and buy, they go and buy an aircraft that's about 10, 15 years old. A new aircraft, this aircraft we are talking about now is probably about $100 million to $150 million. But when we are going to buy now $20 million, $50 million.
All right, guys.
Let's allow Kemi finish.
A lot to talk about now, no doubt.
So much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Kemi.
See you later on.
Oh.
Okay. Now, Captain, make us understand. Now, where is this fuel imported to Nigeria from? Can you give us an idea?
Even from Ivory Coast, where you have where some Nigerians went and put a refinery, you can get Jet A1 even from probably Angola. Dangote went somewhere around that area to build a refinery. You can get it around it. That's why when you start shouting of fuel, the thing is on the sea, waiting. When you make enough noise and they're able to answer them, within 20 to 24 hours, they are discharging. They are not bringing it from US, they are not bringing it from a lot of industry are around us here that are producing. So it's not a problem. Even if we have, because of our character, because of our attitude, it's going to be difficult to get some of these problems solved if we don't start looking at it now. We get those who are not supposed to be in the system to find a way to get them out of the system and make sure that a NCAA applies the regulation and sanction whoever doesn't fall into line. Most of the airlines are not on the line at all. They're just moving around the curve.
Okay, that's interesting because, I mean, the next question I'm about to ask you is, so what are the medium to short-term solutions right now? And are there long-term solutions that you can proffer so that we don't have this situation reoccurring?
The short-term solution now is let there be an immediate audit of all the airlines. Let them check their balance sheets. Let us find out how much money they are owing. Both the service provider, the safety service provider and the marketers. Let us find that one out. And let us see those who can continue in the industry, those who can pay. It is not every time government will be using public money to pay for their debts. Let's find out how much so that we can remove the less debt owing one to those who are owing heavily. We'll solve that problem. The second problem, the second solution is this. If it is possible for government, for what do you call them? NNPC, to remove his hand from either importation and distribution of fuel and allow the private operator to repair the pipeline that is supplying fuel directly to the airport so that we can remove. There's another danger with the trucking. The safety issue is there. So that we can get the fuel directly into the apron. That probably will take another 2 to 3 years to to change those pipes. That is the long-term solution. So that we can remove the added cost of transportation, added cost of demurrage, be able to, as they are discharging from the ship, is moving directly to the airport. That's the only solution.
All right.
Okay.
It's good to have an idea of some of these things. It's part of what Nigerians have been making complaining about, how things don't work when it comes to operations and management and coordination. But however, we thank you very much for joining us on the program. Group Captain John Ojikutu, retired, Secretary General Aviation Roundtable. Thank you very much for coming. And we look forward to days where all of these things will be history, where we can sit down and fly the Nigerian plane or fly a plane to anywhere in the world, and we are proud of it. Thank you very much.
And hopefully, according to reports, we're hearing that it might even get to 50,000 naira, for a one-hour flight.
One-way flight.
One-way flight, and we hope it doesn't get there.
Yeah, we hope things get better. We have Captain Ojikutu has given us an idea of what these
there's no reason why it should be more than 30.
It's all right. Now we're going on a commercial break now, and we'll come back shortly. Stay with us.